Hello and welcome. I'm Martin Groschwald, CEO of Konzepthaus. What you're about to see and hear is one of 12 panel talks from our Mobility Design Conference 2025 at the Munich Motor Show, where we brought together leading voices from design, technology, and mobility to explore the future of our industry. In this session, you'll hear fresh perspectives and valuable insights straight from our stage. Let's dive in.
Welcome everybody. Give a warm applause, please. So, to Christian Schreiber and Thomas Samhuber. And we're going to talk for the next hour about the business side of design. Not talking design operation, because Christian is claiming not to be design operation explicitly, but other business aspects. And who could introduce those guys better than themselves? So, Thomas, would you like to start?
Yeah, of course. Thomas Samhuber, I'm head of operations in Avatar currently. And I started my career at BMW as a clay modeler and transformed into digital modeling and so on and so forth. And at the very end, I was project leader for a surfacing department in the advanced phase across the brands, BMW, Mini, Rolls-Royce. And then my last year at BMW, more and more design colleagues disappeared somehow. And one day I also received a call and I joined them again at NEO, also as director design operations. Been there 4.5 years and then run my own business for a while and got in touch with Nader Faghizadeh, our Avatar CDO. And we collaborated for a couple of months, and then we decided to bring me also at Avatar in the role of Director Design Operations, and I'm still there. And responsible for digital modeling, physical modeling, visualization, PQ, and studio engineering, perceived quality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's me.
And thanks, Thomas. And then Nada, you happen to know from your BMW times, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. We worked closely. He as a designer, me as a modeler on the BMW 6 Series, where we run actually first time a real digital process in parallel, the coupe and convertible.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite exciting time. Also nice car, I think.
So how large is your department at the moment, roughly?
Currently, we are, in my department, 48 people.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, working also with partners, contractors, etc. And I think on the digital modeling side, we have 50 to 60 contractors as well working with us.
Good.
Yeah.
Thanks. So, and then Christian, different perspective, because working for traditional OEM.
Yeah, let's see where I start, to not bore everyone to death, probably. But I started my career actually after university in a Japanese company, which was smashing because you learn fully different cultural aspect to a German, I would say. So was actually running there an RD team in Berlin with teams in Detroit and Ichigawa and Tokyo as well, and quite international. After a while, I got the chance to join Volkswagen Design in Potsdam, the design studio. Back then, it was like a proper group design studio. I think it was amazing times because we were actually always working together with the different OEMs, obviously sparring partner for the different brands. So did a lot of Lambo projects, Audi projects, Volkswagen projects, first time Volkswagen China projects as well. And luckily as well Bentley projects. And this is after a few years then I was a studio engineer there and more or less was part of my role. And the second role was strategical planning with the group. So Martin Winterkorn and Stefan Silav had a responsibility of head of group interior. So we worked for all the brands and tried to look what are the synergies between the brands, how do you position different brands. So first strategical touch point for me in my career, I would say. And then after a few years, Stefan asked me to join Bentley as well when he went to Bentley to run the studio engineering teams. And then I developed amongst the time. So I planned like to go probably 3-4 years on the island and have a bit of fun. And then I stayed 8.5 years in the end. I loved it so much. I quit my Volkswagen contract. I went all in local contract. I thought that's just more honest, and it's the right approach to be taken seriously as well on the island. And I started running different teams, then digital surfacing all the way up to Strack, so final digital surfacing phase, production surfaces, visualization team, finance, so all operational topics, studio engineering. And then even in the end, I had the honor to run the whole design team as design director for a few months, because Andy Mint left the Volkswagen, and they started looking for someone who could do the job probably, and they felt I could do it. It was the best experience of my life, to say, because all the operational topics that I had to discuss with the design director before I just put into place. So within a month, we moved from the technical development team into reporting directly to the CEO with a quite clear operational plan. And I think this was really stunning, the times in Bentley. And I just used my creative counterparts, obviously, to do X design, interior design, whatever, and ran the studio more or less from a strategic side of it. And then Volkswagen approached me and said whether I want to join Volkswagen. After 8.5 years was probably the right moment in time to do so. They offered me, it's a bit different, that's why I say I'm not operations, because it's split a bit more. Yeah, Volkswagen is a huge company. I mean, we have over 50 model lines currently, so it's over 100 projects we have live currently on the globe. So you have to split this a bit differently. So I'm not responsible for finance and projects, but they offered me to be responsible for digital surfacing and physical modeling and IT. And I said, it's not enough. So I said, I want to drive the company. I want to change the company in the way I feel Volkswagen. I'm a big Volkswagen guy by heart. Restored lots of different Volkswagen in my life. And I felt Andy's the right guy for it as well, and the board is ready for it. So I said, can you also give me or create a role for me to be global head of design strategy? So with all regions included. And they said yes. So I said, yeah, that's the right job to do. And went to Volkswagen in 24. And that's where I'm at now.
And that is quite unusual, yeah? Because at the moment we consult quite a lot of OEM to discuss with the chief designers if they should gain the responsibility for, or at least sit at the table for product definition, product strategy. And alongside that also, of course, design strategy is more traditional responsibility, but augment this mandate. You were claiming that when you were still sitting at Bentley, and also claiming it from, let's say, a non-creative background. You are a studio engineer by breed. Was there a heritage before that this responsibility was within Volkswagen Design, or are you the first guy who having so much power?
Yeah, I don't want to comment on my power, but I think I'm driven by not being the ball, but rather play the game. And what I've seen, I didn't see that initiative before, to be honest. Yeah. So, but what I didn't like in design, really, from a process point of view, was, and this is like from my studio engineering role, this was everyday work. There's a product planning team, and there are guys in sales and marketing that analyze customers, and they give you a brief, and they say, like, make it look nice. And then once you're done, we communicate. So don't give a damn about it, more or less. So I always bring this analogy of the pig and the horse. Yeah. So they come to you, give me a pick, and say, like, try to make a horse out of it. And then we do our best, we create and, we wrap it up and it looks like a horse almost. And then we go to our communication teams and say, like, come on, use this pig horse and sell it as a horse. And that's a very unsatisfying process, I would say. So, and I said, with my knowledge, technical development, platforms and whatever, and structured and process driven approach, why can't we be at the top of the game and discuss what do the customers do really? What's our design part of it? How can we create an environment to understand where the product lives in the future? So almost like a mood board for the product in the future. How does it fit to the brand and stuff? And we can bring something to the table. And I really want to start this discussion. I think, and this is where we're at now. This drives me every day. Yeah. So this is where we're at Volkswagen. So design team is at the forefront. There's not even a product portfolio discussed. We are sitting there with them and discuss the product portfolio. Where that makes sense. We create mood boards with customer insights. And obviously the variety of customers in Volkswagen is so diverse. So it's really, really interesting to look in different regions, look into different products and create something up front. And hopefully you get a horse in the end, but you just have to dress up nicely and you can sell it in the end as well. Yeah. So I was always process driven. I think this is just, I've taken it in my own hands more or less, yeah.
So does Volkswagen Design have a veto right when it comes to a cycle plan and product?
Oh yeah, massive, yeah. No, yeah. So it wasn't that way, I would say, when I joined. But we've created some process. Obviously, you have the open mindset from the board, to be honest. So Thomas Schäfer and Kai Grünes as well. Obviously, I still report within technical development, which is fine in the end. You can talk about organizations all day, but you just have to implement a process. I think you just run with the process and convince people. So we sit on the tables, yeah. So we sit in different. They just have a new CBO, yeah, Chief Brand Officer in Volkswagen. She brings us on the table. We are like a permanent member now on the CBO circle. Where they define product portfolios, they define exactly what is the customer insight that leads to a product, and we have vetoes, yeah. So but even all the way to communication now, like IAA, the whole setup here, design was involved. Tonight we look at the open space and we sign it off as well as design. This never happened that strongly in Volkswagen, I'd say. So I think we're on a very good pathway. Lucky to have the right people in place as well, to be honest, in the other functions, which is sales, marketing, communication, and the board.
So, Thomas, to pick up on that point, does Avatar Design sitting here in Munich with the global design headquarter also have that impact on your product strategy with the headquarter?
Yeah, definitely. I think we also claim, like many others, design-driven. We truly are, I would say. We have also here a strong say. Our design is on the board level with Nader. And in a very collaborative way, we align all the strategies, all the portfolio planning with each other regularly. And yeah, for sure, strategy is distributed in between product planning and design. So we have a very strong say, maybe similar, I don't know.
I mean, design-driven companies is a cool topic as a buzzword, right?
It's a buzzword, yeah.
And they all say, you're a design-driven company. What does it mean, really? So I have my own interpretation of it. So for me, design-driven company is more, you put brand and customer first without shooting products out of the hip because you feel like it. And that's design thinking for me applied in every department, not just design. So design-driven doesn't mean styling-driven for me. Design-driven means really that sales, marketing, the board, everyone applies the same logic and puts the customer and brand first before their own product ideas, yeah.
So you would say, so before, like traditionally marketing looks at future markets, maybe they ask the sales guys which market would buy which type of products. Then they maybe ask an agency and there's some rough product definition and designers execute on a short Steckbrief. So the old times. So now the designers sit at the table. So what can they bring in? Usually would say they bring only emotion. Like, why does the design department have an even better understanding for making kick-ass products?
Only design can predict the future. Customers or some people from other departments, they don't even know, right, about the future, what the future should look like and what they maybe demand in the future, right? I truly believe that only designers can see that, and this is also user focused. Yeah? We also try to understand our user needs, but we let them also know with our products what are their needs in 3 years. Yeah, kind of magic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we only see the emotional side of design. I think there's a professional side to it as well, the business side, where we say we can bring amazing amount of stability as well. Yeah, when I have my brand values, and I describe my design values, Volkswagen global design values like stable, likable, secret sauce, we call it. Yeah, you can apply this logically to the whole world and say what's the interpretation for the regions potentially. So we talk with our regional studios as well and say what's your interpretation, but it brings stability as well. And it always feels like if you give the design a strategy, it's too tight for the designers to create their freedom, and I think it's wrong. Yeah, because it's more focused, it's channeled, it supports the brand way better. Mm-hmm. It's more satisfying in the end because you have no real arguments. Yeah, if it's just emotions, then you have a high-level board member, and just because he doesn't feel like it or he doesn't like it, you have nothing to say. And if you have strategical thoughts and say, well, this is on brand, this fits, this is what the customer wants. So you have strategic background. You can convince anyone. Yeah, we have discussions with Oli Blume quite often where he says, I don't like that part. If you have your right arguments, why it fits that product, why it fits that brand, he will back off. Yeah, he will say, fair enough, it makes sense for you guys. So he doesn't have to like it. And I think this is what we have to bring to the table as designers, to be seen as a strategic partner on eye level rather than just the emotional guy. Because you won't win with the emotions in a world of hierarchy. So bring a few strategic thoughts from design as well, and this is your argument to push this product all the way to the end.
But however, there is emotion, because if one department is gaining more power, another department is depowered. And that is probably marketing and product definition. So how many conflicts was that creating with this decision to empower design?
Funny enough, in Volkswagen, less conflicts than in Bentley. Yeah? In Bentley, you had like very traditional thoughts, and luxury is a very, very narrow position for cars, obviously. And as a designer, it's tough as well to design Bentleys, to be honest. I'm not a Bentley owner, I'm not a Bentley user. Yeah? So it's really, sometimes you really have to try to get into that product. In Volkswagen, it's a product your family uses, everyone has an opinion on Volkswagen because it's such a broad spectrum. And it was simpler in Volkswagen, funny enough. People listen way more. It's probably people dependent, but now we've just stabilized it by processes. But I think it was simpler because we all speak a more simpler language. We do understand the Golf. Everyone knows what a Golf needs to look like, what it feels like. Everyone has driven one potentially, has a story to it. So I think there was common ground, way more common ground in Volkswagen than Bentley. So I think it was quite easy, to be honest, if you just collect the right arguments.
And quick personal question, did your prior role as a whole head of design for Bentley prepare you for this mandate now at Volkswagen Design?
In a way it did, to understand the other side of it and what the business expects from you when you're like design director. I think sometimes design director is quite an artificial thing that you have to go through. So sometimes I feel sorry for those guys as well, because they just expect you to go on stage and sketch something because you're sometimes a sketching monkey to bring nice emotions to everyone, and they don't take you as seriously potentially. Yeah. So I've seen that side, and that prepared me quite well to see exactly how I can support Andy as well in his role, to not be seen like the guy who jumps on stage and brings good mood into the crowd, but seen as a professional business partner as well. I think that prepared me quite well for it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But on Thomas' side, I mean, you are also confronted with this design-driven approach, but out of Munich. So communicating into the Chinese headquarter. You're the minority. I think there must be thousands of engineers in the headquarter. You're gearing around 100, 150 people maybe in the design department. Foreigners having also an impact on from 6,000 kilometers away into product definition of a Chinese product. How does that work emotionally also with the headquarter?
I wouldn't see it so difficult. We are a design department within a bigger company, and we are away 6,000 kilometers. But I think that's how it is nowadays. We have to work together globally. We have all the tools in place. I think even the last ones learned it through Corona, how to work, how to connect through video calls, etc. And we adapted. And of course, I like this approach to go where the talents are. And there are a lot of talents here in Munich. It's an automotive design hub, I would almost say. Everyone comes to Munich. It's amazing. And to connect with them is not that difficult. Of course, we're also traveling. We have regular conversations on a daily basis with China. And this feels like next door. So it's not so far away.
But how important is it to sit in China in the right decision-making committee? Because Christian can just walk through Wolfsburg or at least a few offices, 100 meters, and then meet the right sea level.
Yeah, of course. Personally, it's always better, we all know. But we have a big team with a lot of tasks. We also decide which meeting we should maybe go there and have a direct chat with them, and which can be done in a digital way. But I think there's a lot of trust, and in it, I would not always say China, the Western, or something like that. It doesn't play a role. I think in every department, in every design department in the world, there are international teams. All right, we have also, I think, 35 different nationalities in the team, and So as every other design department as well, also Chinese colleagues. Yeah? So this doesn't play a big role. Of course, there are slight cultural differences, yeah, but we are all professionals, and that's how we collaborate.
Mm. However, then you represent two completely different companies, you know. And Thomas, you were already endeavoring twice the startup style of Chinese startup, these foreign teams here in Munich, and Volkswagen, and also Bentley are representing super traditional and conservative oil tankers. You know? So startup versus grown up. Christian, how much anarchy and revolution and also maybe provocation you need to bring in into established teams to make them wake up and also become as agile as maybe Thomas can act?
I'll probably say just as much that they don't kick you out, but I like challenges, to be honest. Yeah, I have very strong values. So when it comes to integrity or compliance, there's no challenges for me, no room. But I like challenges on processes, on decision making, and ownership. Yeah, and I've never seen it like as a critical topic to be that big boat. I mean, Bentley for me is a bit faster potentially. You know, obviously they're part of group. I know, but it's decision making is really quite fast in Bentley, to be honest. When I came to Volkswagen, I was expecting you can't do anything. Yeah, it's going to be tough. Because no one will listen. There's so many different forms you have to go to before you get anything signed off. I think I came in a very good time in Volkswagen because we needed change. You've seen what the product's done. You've seen what the company does, and we lost lots of customers, and we didn't gain new ones. So change had to happen. So the board realized that anyway. Andy was there. Andy, you know, is crazy guy, highly emotional. Almost no politics in his world, you know, was the best chance to do something, to challenge things as well. And funny enough, the board themselves hired me, so they got me from Bentley, so they knew what they're getting. So I don't accept big decision-making forums and over again question things. I like ownership, and that's what we're pushing for, and I call it out as well. So I feel there's a positivity with a big tanker because it does go into a direction. If the direction is somehow okay, it gives you somehow stability as well. So when you look at our platforms, I think it took us a while to go to the right platforms and stuff, but we have platforms that are competitive now in different markets as well. And this gives you stability because they're just there. It's something you can, in the very early design phase, you can say, that's the wheelbase, that's the battery, that's your glass bar, whatever. You free so many things that you can really focus on the creative things that makes your brand probably standing out to our group brands that use the same platform. That's stability for me. And then you can focus on your decision-making processes, quick calls, and you stabilize those decision-making processes with a clear strategy on top. So if you just have your platform, that's done. You put your design strategy on top, so you know exactly what's your vision and where you walk into. And if you can align everyone, brand and all your board members as well, you make very quick decisions because not opinionated anymore. It's fact-based, more or less, on your brand vision, and then you can really focus on creativity. I think we have amazing creative freedom, even though our development cycles have gone down by half or something. Yeah, it's stressful, it's exciting as well, but we have a very clear vision, better than ever before, I think. Yeah. So
seems like we're getting closer.
Yeah, of course. This is what we see globally. Yeah, the established becoming again more agile, and the startups forming more structure.
At Konzepthaus, we're passionate about shaping the future of mobility design. A big part of that is connecting the right talent with the right opportunities. Through our recruiting team, we help both studios and companies, as well as designers and design leaders worldwide, to find their perfect fit to make a difference. If you want to learn more about our recruitment services, head over to konzepthaus-consulting.com.
I mean, you came from BMW with, like, I would say, world-leading processes. And then you built up NIO from almost zero as head of operations, isn't it? And then, I don't know, went into Avatar. So how much could you take from BMW in terms of just learning and experience and wanted to bring it into your startup worlds? And also from startup to startup, how much could you could you have learned from Neo, which we could bring into Avatar? Was it just copy paste or?
When I left BMW, I was working 4 or 5 years in the advanced design phase, and even at BMW, this phase is also quite agile. You have to just react. You know this. We also worked in different relation there, and so I was used to these daily changes and requests and so on and so forth, and different platform. Try this, try that, and so on. So this was not that shocking, let's say, from BMW to Neo. But of course, then you need to start establishing things. Processes, of course. We don't run in a startup without processes. We also developed our PEP, and of course, BMW was a good school to learn all of this and then to also apply. And when I started at Neo, you join a startup and you're super ambitious, right? Startup world, yeah. So let's make everything different. I learned very quickly that you can make things different, but you only get rid of the 20% which were not so efficient in the big OEMs. Processes are, I would say, similar from the setup, but what's really different is the mindset. I would say it's really about, if you read this Agile Manifesto, I can't remember all the details, but it's basically about the mindset of having the product and the user in the focus, and but let's say still respecting processes. Yeah? But the priority is the product. It's not the process. The process doesn't dictate the product. When the change is needed, we do it, and maybe you have to compromise money, time. Yeah, that might be, and things which are maybe impossible or has been impossible at some established OEMs because they run process through decades. Yeah? And as you said, very very process driven, but
in Germany. But also in China. So how quick are you in Europe as Europeans versus China speed with the headquarter? Can you cope with that?
Of course you can, yeah.
Although we work here 30% less. So you must compensate it with wisdom and...
I don't believe in this 15-hour work every day. This doesn't work out for me. I think it's also not sustainable, and we have a great team. If you join a startup, and I did this twice, you have the chance to build your own team, and you build a team of professionals. They're handpicked. Yeah, there's, how should I say? They are not let's say some people which are already 40 years in the company and say, yeah, we did it always like that, and you want to do it different. No, we can't. And no, everything is possible, and you can define it, and that's the nice thing when you join a startup. And from BMW to Neo, that was for me the first experience, and of course quite challenging in that role. And from day one, I think even I was there in the office first day. After 1 hour, I was pulled into a meeting. How can we do this? Let's define that, whatever. In the first hour, yeah. And the speed is very different. The whole communication is different. We don't wait for anything. We don't wait for forums. We don't discuss messages 5 forums up, and then there's a question or whatever, a rejection, and then it goes down again and up again, and 4 weeks later you make the call. No, this is all happening always like that. And yeah, we have also the tools. We work with whatever WeChat, Teams, all those communication tools, and we have more chats than email talk. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And when I came then to Avatar, that was different in a way, because I made already this experience. I built the team, I built the processes, and it was like I could adapt immediately, kind of a blueprint, and and we were up to speed very quickly.
So what did you change at Avatar? What did you learn out of Neo?
I don't want to talk too much about Neo, but what did I change? Not that much initially. Yeah, I think we tried maybe to. Key is the team. For me, it's always the team, and here we try to improve that in a way that because all this speed is not. It's not always. You cannot do it always in a healthy way, and we try to do it in a more healthy way. No, not too much pressure to the team, and in the long term, this runs better. But honestly, changes were not so. It was not so different. At the end, if we talk openly in the industry, we all cook with water.
Yeah, but I always had the impression
what you hear from Christian is also similar what you hear from my side. Maybe what's different is maybe you said the framework and strategy to be set. This needs to be all set from beginning. Then to focus on design. This may be different. I think in Chinese company you have no problem to change the wheelbase in the A-class or in the Strack in German.
However,
but they're open to that. We get full support from our engineering team, from the leadership. Customer first, market demands first, always, and we continuously improve our products. Even after launch, we still improve, and we have interim change actions again. Whatever the feedback is, maybe it's the quality, it's the customer demand, or just the market, because a new product came into the market and you adapt continuously.
However, I always had the impression when Neo was founded here, I think 2014-15 in Munich, the salaries were outrageous, and was really the approach to have the best of the best, and also money does not matter at all. It scaled up to a much too large team, and then also went into diverse layoff rounds, unfortunately, because it was just too much, overstaffed, and maybe also want to make it the best OEM design team ever on this planet. I always had the impression from outside.
That's what I always said.
Yeah. And at Byton we tried to copy you, and also we wasted too much time, and we even went completely banana. And south, definitely, and failed completely. And I think Neo was 1 millimeter away from that at that time. But you made it, and they made it, but with a lot of bleeding in terms of people. And then now I have the impression that the more recently founded Chinese European design teams are not making these mistakes. They seem to be a bit leaner, a bit more like realistic in terms of staffing, a bit more cautious.
Yeah, that's indeed a difference in between Neo and Avatar. But there was a management decision to run the projects internally with own staff. This we do a bit different. We are, I would say, more flexible based on the project load. Yeah. And a bit more sustainable growth.
But
LC growth. Yeah.
Let me just probably pick up on the China speed, because it's always like you think Volkswagen, China speed, not possible in Wolfsburg. That was a big challenge. No one thought that it's possible for us. And obviously, when you look at our project landscape, there's a very high percentage currently where we do Chinese projects as well from Wolfsburg, because Andy's global head of design, global head of design strategy. And I remember how the Chinese board gave us a task and said, like, well, we need to do these 15 cars or whatever in that time frame. So you had like all your gateways condensed, PEP 24 or something, completely nuts. And we blindly accepted. We didn't even make a call. We said we have to accept it because we're out of the game if we don't. And we defined completely new processes within the design team, agreed with the board to make quick decisions. Had nothing to do with PEP, normal PEP anymore. And we won the game more or less, yeah. And it was impressive what you can actually, if you have the right mindset, as you said before as well. It's all about the mindset, yeah. You can change any process and be competitive if you have the right mindset and the right people to let you do it as well. Mm-hmm. So and what I see, how many projects we've done in that short time frame that I'm in Volkswagen now, completely insane. I've never seen something like this. Obviously, you have to you have to take risk as well. Yeah, it's not risk-free. You have to make quicker decisions which come with risk and ownership. But if it's manageable risk, obviously you would go that way. And I think currently design from a process point of view is driving, which I've never seen before either, driving the whole technical development departments, driving the company, because the speed is unseen in Volkswagen, what we've had to do with our Chinese partners. And now they're adopting the speed from design into all the project management levels to really be fast in Volkswagen generally, how we've done it in China. So I think it's quite powerful to say, like, design has driven our company speed-wise from a new PEP delivery. Yeah, so I think it's impressive, yeah.
So do you think that is like the factor is good management from C-level in Volkswagen, or is it also because any individual in the design teams reflect if they will not support this idea, it will be the end?
I think it starts with pressure, yeah, and obviously you just have to react, and you have to see that what the customers are asking for in the regions as well, what they're expecting, what looks like in China. Are you still competitive with your products? And that's the pressure, and you have to change them. You don't have a chance to say no, yeah. And then what we have to do now is stabilize the processes really, and say, like, okay, everyone gets it, yeah. Before it was individuals, I would say. Yeah, you have the right individuals at the right point in time to make those decisions, those calls. I think 10 years ago would have not been possible, to be honest. But now we have to stabilize it by right strategies, right processes, and collaborate properly. And that's what we currently try to do, really. So we go into the regions, we say, what do you need? How can we stabilize it into a proper process that's future-proof? Yeah. But it is individuals and pressure in the beginning, very clear.
Pressure is good also. Yeah, I have to make the experience. That, sometimes in the past, or 10, 15, 10 years ago, there was actually so much time to design a car, and if you think back, then what was the key sketch actually, and the final product, completely two different things, right? With shorter timings, I think the products are much closer to the initial idea than with these long times, because there's so much discussion then over time, 1-2 years, whatever, and this pressure helps also the product, from my experience.
We see now Chinese OEM skipping completely the theme development, just picking a sketch from the wall after 1 week and just building this vehicle. Yeah. I heard about.
That's common, yeah. You don't go with like 5 different themes into the next gateway or whatever. But funny enough, what I see as well with the designers, they're way more focused with their strategies as well. So we talk, obviously, we have different regions. Yeah, when I look at China North, South, Middle, different products, different attitude, different customers, different needs. The designers are so focused now; they know exactly which sketches can really fulfill that need. So you don't have the full variety for every region. It's a bit more focused, to be honest. But I would say we're getting into a mood where we're still quite creative in our theme selection. Yeah, but it's not. You don't have 150 sketches anymore you look at. That's not happening. Yeah. It's way more focused.
So what drives then your process innovation? Is you can of course say we just shorten the amount of time, just kick people's ass, but technology-wise and really the concrete way of operating and managing your teams, how do you see your roles here and like for process innovation and doing things a bit differently?
I think be open-minded to the tools you use. Obviously, partnerships are important. So we try to see what are the quickest partners we have for every tool, for platforms, but also for development tools, and to see like I think it's all about partnerships, not the OEM anymore waiting for the tool to come. We develop the tools together. That's what I see in digital tools as well. Yeah, we sit on the table. We really structure them in a way that they fit to the brand quickly as well. Yeah. So and then utilize those tools at your best capacity. Obviously, AI is always a topic where I say, how do you use AI and what does it really do for you? I think sometimes it's mistakenly interpreted what AI is and what algorithms are. Yeah, because generative shape, I mean, we've written algorithms and it was technically fine afterwards. Put your sketch in there. There's an algorithm behind it and it will be technically feasible. That's an algorithm as well that we can write now. It's not an AI. But AI is just, I think the biggest topic with AI is we do test those tools, we use them, We also create databases for the designers that create their own space, more or less. So the AI will do focus things that the designer would do anyway with hundreds of sketches they put into it. So we use all these tools and we channel it, but I think it's about partnership. Be open-minded. Don't think you're the OEM, you can do it yourself and you can tell people what they have to develop for you in silos. I think it's this partnering with the right companies and tech companies and sit on the table with them developing the tools. That's what makes us really fast and focused.
Yeah. And Thomas, I think you're also responsible for driving AI within avatar design.
Exactly, yeah. This we also started, of course. This you cannot put on the side anymore. AI is around. I wouldn't say it will, because that's a big fear. Wouldn't say it replaces people. I think it makes just the presentations better, the product better, more variety. Also what we explored is that designers they're so busy in the projects, they cannot, like in the past, they went to somewhere just to get lost and new inspiration, etc. This is not possible anymore, but AI can help on that because AI shows you new ideas which you never thought about, right? And this is now also helpful in that direction that you again have new inspirations, etc. And this is just helping the situation, and of course everything gets quicker and more speed, and that's also where AI can, let's say, compensate on that, and not saying replacing people. People are still needed from my point of view, but when you look also into visualization, how quickly AI can generate images then for sea level, for short-term presentations to the board. And you don't have to wait for renderings, etc. This goes much quicker in the future.
I think that's the benefit, yeah? Because as we said, like you shorten the process, so where do you lose the quality, right?
Exactly.
With these new tools, you gain back the quality. It's not you say get rid of lots of people. It's getting back the quality. You probably lost along the way because you had to shorten your process, yeah? Where probably in an early sketch phase, ideation phase, you would have gone to an external design company and said, like, give us a few more ideas, and 4-week sprint. That's what 4 weeks was called sprint back then. Yeah. So and today you do 2 days AI sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not to forget, also AI needs the LoRa, the training, etc. Right? You have to also work with AI. I can imagine in the future we have AI departments everywhere, and they will grow, right? So.
Before we go into the Q&A, coming already into my last question, because this is exactly this. How do you imagine a typical automotive design department in 10 years? Will it grow? Will it shrink? How does it look like? What is then the role also of design? In a few sentences.
Well, I think I heard these questions even in the past very often when let's say when digital modeling came up and VR, and everybody said, okay, in 5 years there's no clay anymore. That was 20 years ago. Clay is still around, not so much in our team anymore, but still we have also physical reference. It's not replaced by VR. We figured out, I think all of us, we figured out there's not so much acceptance if you present to sea level in VR, because they just don't want to wear those things, right? So it's hard to predict what's happening in 10 years, how this design department looks like in 10 years. But of course, we're going to have new tools and we're going to utilize them. And the size of the department, I don't expect them to shrink, because this design is so much in the focus. There's so much to do, and it's not just to throw something above the table. And still, as you said, it's still about quality. It's about humans to make decisions. Like when I heard this military general last time, they were also referring about AI. But it supports you in the best way, in a good way. Yeah, and you can achieve maybe much more in shorter time, and get very good advices, very good proposals, whatever. So here AI can help, but it's at the end, it's still design is on the emotional, on the human side. 10 years, who knows? But we just continue to innovate, right? We cannot stop this. I was always innovating. I remember back when we from the transition from clay to cast, or clay cast process we developed, right? And there were also people. Change is always difficult for people, right? And the clay models were saying, yeah, but forget about the digital modeling. How does it look like? And those guys, they said, yeah, but you with your clay, this is not accurate enough, and so on. And but we chose the best things out of the two tools and combined them in a good way, in the best way. Yeah, because also a clay modeler back then was not keen to model a greenhouse. Yeah. It was just hard to reach and so on. Yeah, so that was one thing, and there were another kind of revolution from NURBS modeling to poly modeling, and this I established in BMW advanced phase, and even designers said, we cannot deal. This is low quality. We cannot deal with that, and there are no curves and so on. And but at the end. No one recognized the difference in the final product anymore, but we had so many advantages because we could adapt in a very quick way from one to the other platform, just transforming the design, which was before not possible in that way. And I see this similar to the AI as a tool. Quicker, better quality, we can achieve just more.
We shall see. But Christian, you're the same opinion, or growing, shrinking? How does it look?
First of all, in 10 years' time, the perfect design department, or how I see it, is with me, because I'm not that old yet. So, but the second big thing is, I come from a different perspective, I'd say. Tools is something that develops. I can't predict tools. I will be probably common. Flexibility, I think it's quite stimulating, to be honest. We do way more projects. Creativity will still explode. That's what I see currently with the new tools. So you shouldn't shy away from tools, just embrace them. And but the most important thing for me is design, where I see the design department of the future is fully emerged into the center of the brand. And that's important for me. Yeah. So we're not just sketching monkeys anymore that get the technical briefing and do something. They drive the brand forward. They shape brand. They shape the brand image. They listen to the customer. They are truly design driven, which doesn't mean you're in your ivory tower and you're the posh designers. No, you're amongst the team and you drive something forward. Tools I think they won't change that much potentially. They make us faster. They bring back quality. We talked about before. Yeah, we even have physical clay modeling still. Yeah, in Volkswagen, and quite often I've seen we've done digital loops, 3 loops, 4 loops. It just didn't get where it should be, and then we've done one week clay modeling, and those clay guys, they're sculptures. Yeah, they have a feeling for a surface. Volkswagen for me is an emotional product. It should touch you from the surface. It shouldn't be technical. Yeah. We're not a technical brand. We're an emotional brand. So all this volume, all this positivity in the surfaces is something that you can probably achieve quite quickly, even in physical clay modeling. So I wouldn't exclude anything. Whatever makes you faster and brings back quality, that's what's going to happen. But hopefully we're in the center of the brand. That's the most important thing for me.
Yeah. Cool, bold statements. Thanks to you guys.
Thanks for watching this session from the Mobility Design Conference 2025 as part of the Munich Motor Show 2025. I hope you found some inspiration and new ideas about where mobility design is heading in the future. If you'd like to see more talks from the conference, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. There is more to come.